Part of the new series. The fourth in the Books of trilogy. We have books for sale. We have Porlock Warlock, we have The Stand-Up Philosophers, Not What One Was, A Brief History of the Concept of Justice, and we have the Books of trilogy, the Book of Contentions, the Book of Indictments, and the Book of Offences, which are all satirical looks at the state we are in. And so, as I'm going to keep it short, I'm going to do one from the Book of Offences, and then one from the fourth in the trilogy, which is yet to be finished. And these are on a theme, because we've just come from the election, and you know what it is when something comes through the door, you know, sort of from certain parties, and you think, my, that's interesting, this one links to it, and the other one is about it. The erosion of English culture. And this book too is worried about the erosion of England's heritage, England's culture. It worries this book, and deeply too. Even the language. The languages do change. But it's the lack of teaching proper history, proper reverence in our schools that this book blames. The lack of support for knowledge from parents sat in front of unreality TV that alarms. The kind of way of living that has forgotten to tell those who ought to know, to tell those who they are incapable of telling, never having known that you can't buy fresh cheese wrapped in plastic. That there is more than one cheese. That apples are best in their season and grown in orchards, the taste of quince. It has been so for some time. Perhaps forever. This book couldn't say it wasn't born then. But to put it shortly, it's not immigrants that this book fears, it's ignorance. Because its ignorance allows old buildings to be pulled down, and its ignorance calls gardens brownfield sites. Ignorance that sells off library books, and ignorance that issues unproofread and unproven headlines and signs. It is the left wing, ever paranoid, who think the problem is within. It is the right wing, ever of ego, who think the problem is without. Ignorance versus immigrants, take your pick. And this one is about one of those leaflets that comes through the door. A leaflet falls through a door. Let's stop all immigration, it shouts inhospitably. Yes, let's! How wonderful to ensure that folks all over the world have enough to eat, warmth in the cold, coolness in the heat, some kind of medical care, a roof over their head that suits them, a hope for the future. Whether land to farm or schooling, crops or jobs or adequate sewage disposal, and everywhere, clean water. Enough that they don't want to leave their home and come to somewhere they don't know the language, get spat at and hated, as one asylum seeker called it, from a war zone to letter bombs and beatings on a grim housing estate. It was out of the frying pan and into the fire. How marvellous to make sure folks live in and come to this country by choice. What an aspiration, shouts this book joyfully. I don't think, says the shepherd, that's what they mean. Thank you. Our 600-page website at cartwheels-collective.co.uk.